In the minutes before Shabbos Kodesh, I just quickly want to share a thought that pertains to Shabbos, pertains to Yerushalayim, pertains to President Trump's courageous and correct declaration of recognition of Yerushalayim as the undivided capital of Am Yisrael. The truth is, Yerushalayim means the Har HaBayis, means the Temple Mount. And there is much to look into a connection between between Yerushalayim and the Temple Mount. Right? Hare, we know that Shabbos, all the malachas of Shabbos, were derived from the building of the Mishkan, which subsequently found its eternal resting place on the Temple Mount of Yerushalayim. So that already is one connection. You find they're always mentioned together. How did the Torah know to derive what's prohibited to do from Shabbos, from what's went into building the Mishkan? Not because they're always mentioned together. Right? The din, the command to make the Mishkan, subsequently the Mikdash, and Shabbos, as the pasuk says, "Et Shabsosai tishmo mi Mikdashi tiro ani Hashem." From the, you should observe my Shabbos and you should have awe of my Mikdash, I am Hashem. The two always go together. And the truth is, both of them have the theme of shalom, peace. Right? Yerushalayim ha-benuya ki'ir shechubra la yachdav. Right? Yerushalayim, that's when it's built up. The pasuk says to him, it is a ear that connects everything. Chazal say, at Yerushalayim, right, everyone becomes friends. All the Jewish people met in Yerushalayim when they came up on Aliyah L'Regel. It's a place of connection. It is a place where all the tribes get together. There is a shita that Yerushalayim lo nechla kol shvatim. Yerushalayim was not divided amongst the tribes. It belongs to the whole Jewish people. Right? It's a place of unity. Right? And Shabbos, right, is also a time of shalom, right, unity. That's why there's the din of lighting Shabbos candles. The whole reason why Chazal instituted that, and Shabbos candles is even more important than wine for Kiddush. If a person only has money for one thing, either candles for Shabbos or wine for Kiddush, right, he buys the Shabbos candles, right, because they're for shalom bias, for peace in the home. Because there's no peace if, back then, before they had the electric light, without a candle it was pitch dark. Right, and it's no peace and it's no joy to be bumping into things all Shabbos, all Leil Shabbos. It makes peace. Shabbos is about peace, and it's a time for man and wife to get together, and that's the Maharal explains also why there's a prohibition of carrying from the private domain to the public domain. You have to keep things together, right? Not in separate places. Be everything Rishus HaYachid in the domain of the oneness. And there's a lot to add and explain on a deeper level. The Zohar says on the prohibition of lighting fire in Shabbos, lo sevaru esh b'chol moshvosechem, do not light fire in all your dwellings on the day of Shabbos. The Zohar says that means don't get angry. Not just the literal prohibition of not making a fire, but don't get fiery inside. No anger, no fighting on Shabbos. One should never get angry ever, and one should never fight ever. But it's called a form of Chilul Shabbos. Shabbos is the day of oneness, the one day of peace. And as those who say Nusach Tzfard in the Kegavna, the piece of Zohar from Parshas Truma that they say before Baruch Hu, it all talks about Shabbos, the day of oneness, just like God is one and His name is one. So now to go full circle and start showing how Shabbos and the Temple Mount are all about peace, and they go together. What Shabbos is in time, the Temple Mount is in space. They're both places of divinity and oneness. They're both called the place where the divine name rests. Right? Shabbos, the Zohar says, is one of the names of God. That Zohar that we just mentioned, that Nusach Sfard says before, is that Shabbos is Baraza, the Hashem Echad U'Shmo. Shabbos is in the secret of Hashem is one, and His name is one. And you know that the Beis HaMikdash is also called a Makam Asher Yivchar Hashem L'shakein shmo sham. It's a place where Hashem put to have His name dwell there. Right, the Shekhinah that dwells there, it's called Hashem's name, dwells there. So Shabbos is the name of God, and the Beis Hamikdash is the name of God. What Shabbos is in time, the Beis Hamikdash is in space, and that's why it goes so beautifully, whole full circle. That on Shabbos we add, we change, we amend the bracha of Shomer Amo Yisrael, that Hashem should watch over us, right? Always guard us. What we say in the fourth bracha of Kriya Shema by the Marav service. So Shabbos we amend. We don't just say Shomer Amo Yisrael, Hashem should always guard of us forever, but we change it to Hapores Sukas Shalom Oleidu Val Kamo Yisrael V'al Yerushalayim. Hashem should spread the sukkah of peace on the whole nation, right? And us and Yerushalayim. Now, Shabbos is not just about protection. Shabbos is the revelation of the divine name, and when the revelation of the divine name is there is peace. And so Shabbos, if on Shabbos you could say that Shabbos is the time that's parallel to the Kedusha of the Temple Mount, and these two reinforce each other. There's more Kedusha of Yerushalayim revealed on Shabbos because Shabbos comes from the same root as the Kedusha of Yerushalayim. They're both called where God's name dwells, and they're both a place of peace. Sukkah Shalom. Right? As in we also the Sfardim say, Shabbat Shalom. Right? The two go together. Right? The Yerushalayim is Sukkah Shalom, and Shabbos is Shabbat Shalom. They're days of peace. Right? The Shabbos counts are for Shalom Bayis. All these go together. And you know why? Because it goes back to the divine name. It goes back to the divine name. Right? We find the Mishnah says it of us Knesia L'Shem Shamayim Sofa Liskaim. Only if an ingathering is done for the sake of heaven, that ingathering will endure. Political parties rise, political parties fall. Civilizations rise, civilizations fall, because they're not based on the divine name. Right? But if it's all for the sake of God, l'shem shamayim, for the sake of the name of heaven, right? That's the glue that holds the cosmos together. So any unity built on that will endure. Yerushalayim is called Ir Shechuber Lach, the place where there's absolute connection. Everything gets connected because it's a place where the divine name dwells. It's a Knessia, l'shem shamayim. It's an ingathering, right? For the sake of Hashem's name, because Hashem's name dwells there. And that's the glue that holds it together. It's really the glue that holds the whole cosmos together. Physicists are baffled. What holds the universe together? They talk about dark matter and stuff like that. At least Chazal already knew. It's God's divine name that holds everything together. And we're still making room for diversity. Unity doesn't mean, a melting pot. Unity, means that all the different colors, each one retains its individuality and speciality, but they're still together. Because that's another mission of us. Machlokes l'shem shamayim, sofas chaim. If we're different, but it's all for the sake of heaven, then the difference between us will endure. And that's another mystery of the universe, right? Why don't the contradictory forces of nature negate each other? Different energies, in the world. Some of them, like fire and water as an example, and they're mutually exclusive, and everything has its place. It's a unified world, and yet there is the diversity, because it's the divine name makes it that way. It allows for unity, and it allows for diversity. Machlokas Hashem Shamayim. Korach did not want Machlokas Hashem Shamayim. He argued on Moshe Rabbeinu, but not for the sake of diversity. He wanted to usurp Moshe Rabbeinu. It wasn't for the sake of heaven. And that's why the Zohar says that Korach's machlokas with Moshe Rabbeinu, which was not l'shem shamayim, as that Mishnah points out, it's like the perfect example of machlokas that's not l'shem shamayim, dissent and division, but not for the sake of heaven. So it's called Korach had a machlokas with Shabbos, polygala Shabbos. He argued on Shabbos, because Shabbos makes unity, right? Just like the divine name makes unity, because Shabbos is the day of the divine name, like Yerushalayim is the place of the divine name. What Yerushalayim is in time, Jerusalem is in space, right? And we need the divine name whole and undisrupted. Even if you don't actually erase a letter of the divine name, you just disrupt the letters. You're also guilty of the prohibition of mechikas Hashem, of erasing the divine name. The divine name has to be kept together. That's why Yerushalayim has to be the one and undivided capital of Jerusalem, because you can't divide the divine name, right? And so therefore, I just want to share with you, it's just a reflection I had, and now it's almost time for Shabbos, right? So we bring in the peace, and we hope that the peace, Sukkot Shalom, Aleinu V'Akos Yerushalayim, should be a day of peace of Yerushalayim. But I can't help but note that the president spoke not just correctly, but prophetically, as did any conservative. They said that this recognition of Yerushalayim will actually bring peace. He's right. I don't know if he knows how right he is. Right? Right. The president was so right, because the unity, cosmic unity, world unity, is only going to come when the name of heaven is in its right place, whole and undisrupted. With the unification of Yerushalayim, the power of Yerushalayim, the power of Shabbos, that's what's going to bring not just peace to Israel, bring peace to the whole world, with the whole world retaining its diversity. When because we reach that day of Hashem Echad Ushma Echad, Hashem will be one and His name is one. Right? When we reach that wonderful day, which is the day of unity and all of mankind with all its different colors, all under the banner of the name of Hashem. Yerushalayim is where the name of Hashem is in space. Shabbos is where it is in time, and therefore, the unification of Yerushalayim is the whole divine name, right? Undisrupted, as opposed to Amalek that disrupts the divine name. Right? Amalek makes division. Amalek, who's against the Jewish people, it's called that he erases part of the divine name. Having the whole Yerushalayim, together, having Shabbos, Shmira Shabbos together, right? That's the whole divine name that makes unity. So it's not going to having Yerushalayim as the undivided capital of the Jewish people is called that the whole name of God is there, together and undivided, and you have shalom, you have shleimut, you have perfection, right? And that's so therefore having Yerushalayim as the undivided capital of the Jewish people is actually what's going to bring peace not to Israel only, peace to the whole world, right? And Shmira Shabbos is a way to reinforce that. That's what Chazal say. If Chazal only keep 2 Shabbosos, they would immediately be redeemed, because Shabbos and Beis HaMikdash come from the same source. Like we said, what Shabbos is in time, the Beis HaMikdash is in place, and what the Beis HaMikdash is in space, that's what Shabbos is in time. They're both about bringing the divine name into the world. Have a wonderful Shabbos, and with the koach of Shabbos, will be zocha to a gula shlema, Rav Hashem l'malcha kol aretz, be'emu Yashem echad u'shmo echad. Good Shabbos.